Good evening and welcome back to Sonics Basketball. This is the Rooftop Sports, and I'm joined by nobody as always because no one really wants to be on this show, but that's okay. We've got the Seattle SuperSonics against the New Jersey Nets, and it's kind of weird because the Sonics are a Western Conference team and the Nets are an Eastern Conference team, and yet they're playing the Nets for the fourth time this season. Very strange, I must say. And the Nets are 36 and 34, while the Sonics, they are 23 and 46. They're getting close to losing 50. They're getting close to losing 50 games in the entire season. As the season is starting to wind down, the playoffs are starting to come up. And with only 13 games left for the rest of the season. And while I'm looking up Actually, let's go back. Let's just cut to the chase. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification. And we are now going back to 1999. And here we are. And let's look at the power rankings to see where the Sonics are at on the draft lottery odds. They are neck and neck with the Hornets. They are just one win away from being the third best team draft odds. Did I read that you were going to be a Lakers fan soon? Nope, not gonna happen, kid. It ain't ever gonna happen. You can't convince me. Anyways, it's gonna be New Jersey. And there's going to be some changes. Let me see what I want to do. Well, I got Aaron Gaze back. He's back. He's going to play. Sean Resprit is still playing. Shammond Williams has really bad numbers, but I think I'm going to let Andrew Gaze get some minutes. He's replacing Jason Sasser. And I think we're going to go with probably go with the same players. Going up against Stephon Marbury. All right, let's get ready for some basketball. And here's Jerome James getting ready to jump for the tip. And we are underway here at the Key Arena. Now here's Watson over to Stevens, goes for the jumper, and he misses it. Now Kerry Kittles with the ball. What do they got here? Now here's Marbury going for a jumper, and he hits the first shot of the ball game as the Nets take the early lead. Now here is Jerome James. He is wide open for the dunk, gets around Jason Williams. And now the Sonics immediately get on the board. Watson has a big task on Stephon Marbury. Here's Kendall Gill, the former Seattle Supersonic. And that's going to be out of bounds Sonics basketball. Now here's Jerome James to Watson. Lewis for three. And hits. And Lewis from downtown. He's been shooting a little bit more efficiently over the past couple weeks. More efficient than Joe Stevens, I would say. And double team effort on Kerry Kittles. And a steal by Rashard Lewis. He might outrun every single one of them. He is fouled, and he's going to go to the line. He was fouled by Kittles. And let's see if he can hit the free throws. And he misses the free throw, unfortunately. Here's another chance. And he makes the second one as the Sonics now take a 6-2 lead. Here's Marbury. He's going to bring it up. Off to Keith Van Horn. being guarded by Rodman. Now Jason Williams being guarded. Now here's Marbury, and he is fouled by Watson. Now here's Stephon Marbury, and he makes the easy shot. Hits his head, though. Yeah, seems to have a little bit of a headache. He is resilient. Lewis with a wide open three. Rodman with the rebound. He gets smothered up, but he still makes the shot anyway to put the Sonics up 8-4. Now here's Kerry Kittles being guarded by, and now Rodman with the steal. And now here is Rashard Lewis, gets it to Watson, and now he loses the ball, and now it's Nets basketball. Kerry Kittles, and now he's being guarded by Jamie Watson. Now here's Marbury with a jumper and hits. Here's Watson. Over to Stevens for three. And hits that three-pointer. And the Sonics extend that lead to 5. 11-6. Marbury takes it up. Nets have a pretty talented team. They're still in the playoff contention. Now here's Marbury. And now here's Williams. He is blocked by Jamie Watson. That is out of bounds, but it is Nets ball. Marbury is at 6.5 assists per game this season. Now here's Williams, and he's going to go to the line. And doesn't make the free throw. Now here's Watson to Stevens for three, and he makes the second three-pointer. So Stevens, that's something you got to watch out for. He is also going to be a free agent this season. Now here is Van Horn with a jumper and makes that jumper. It's now 14-9, Seattle. Now Jerome James sets that screen. Nice pick and roll possibility. And now Lewis for three. And James does not get that rebound. Goes to Jason Williams instead. Now here's Marbury with an easy jumper, and he hits it. That's one of his bread and butter. Now here's Watson to Jerome James, and he can't get it in. Jerome James has actually been struggling in the month of March alone. Now here's Van Horn. Here's Kerry Kittles. Marbury for three. And Rodman with the rebound. Now here's Lewis. Stevens with another three-pointer, and he makes it again. And timeout is called by New Jersey. I think the Sonics, as much as they've been having a very struggling season with especially a very new team, and now Marbury, and then James, he somehow couldn't get his hand on that, went right through him. And now the Nets are only down by 3. Here's Watson to Rodman and gets the dunk. Dennis Rodman didn't exactly have a dominant season on the rebounds, but his defense was still very effective despite being 37 years old. Kendall Gill. Nearly a steal. Marbury for 3. And he hits it again. Marbury's been shooting very well from downtown. He is now 11 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Now here's James being guarded, and he's going to go for it again, and he does it this time. Nice post moves by Jerome James. Here's Marbury for 3. And Stevens with the rebound. Here's Watson, Stevens, and now Lewis for 3. And he hits another 3-pointer. Now here's Marbury. And he misses. Rodman with the rebound. Gets it to Watson. And it's stolen by Kerry Kittles. And who is he going to get it to? Keith Van Horn with a jumper. And misses it. And Rodman with the rebound. A little bit of miscommunication there on the offensive end. Now here's Lewis. And he posts, and he gets it in there. Lewis now has 9 points. Stevens with 8. Sonics do have some promising young talent on this team. Oh, a nice pass. Now gets it to, and then Rodman with the foul. And now he's going to go to the line, shooting 2, and misses the free throw. And Marbury hits the second one. And Jerome James is going to try to post on the big man who's 7'6". And James was able to get around, but he still could not hit it. Fred Hoiberg has now the ball to Marbury, and he's going for the layup, and he is able to get that in there. Stephon Marbury with 14 points. Now here's James, and he's able to easily lay that in there. He now has 6 points. Now 27-19. Here's Marbury to Carr, to Hoiberg. Now here's Carr with a 3-pointer. Marbury gets his rebound and blocked by Rodman. Here come the Sonics. Now here's Watson. Back to Rodman. And now here's Stevens. And now it's to Jerome James. And he almost lost the ball. He's going to get around. And Rodman gets the rebound. And he is fouled, and he will go to the line. I think he was fouled by Larry Johnson. Derek Fisher's now coming in. And Rodman makes that point. Now it's now 28-19 Seattle. They are off to a pretty good start. Here's Derek Fisher being guarded. Here's Carr for 3. Rodman with the rebound. Now here's Watson trying to make the moves. And now here's Jerome James being guarded by Larry Johnson. And he still can't get it in there. Now only 3 seconds left. And now here's Hoiberg. And the Nets were not able to get a shot off. And that's going to be the end of the quarter. And now the Sonics are going to bring out their entire bench. Derek Fisher, we got Shammond Williams, and this time Andrew Gaze is going to be coming on. And now it's going to be a steal. And now here comes Andrew Gaze. Will he finish it? And he is fouled, and he will go to the line. Andrew Gaze just checked in. He missed a pretty significant amount of time due to injury. When he was playing for the Sonics, he averaged 16 points a game. That was only in just 2 games played. But now he has a chance to shine for the last 13 games of the season. And now out of bounds, Sonics basketball. Now here's Shammond Williams to Mikey Moore. And gets it to Andrew Gaze. Back to Gaze for 3. And Andrew Gaze is doing what he does best, hitting those 3-pointers. Andrew Gaze is at 33 years old. It's unclear where his future is going to be after he was signed on to the Sonics. A 3-pointer. Now here's Pat Garrity with a jump shot. Andrew Gaze is now 33 and given with the Sonics direction. And now here is McCoy. He's able to, and he misses. Mikey Moore with the rebound. And let's get it back to Gaze, to Williams for 3. And he hits the 3-pointer. And the Sonics take the lead. No, they extend their lead to 15. There's Larry Johnson. And he is fouled, and he will hit it, and that is going to count. And he is going to go to the line for a chance for a 3-point play. That was Larry Johnson, who was traded from the New York Knicks. Now 36-24. Here's Gaze for 3. He misses this time. And now here's Hoiberg. And he is fouled. And Young is going to now go. And now Hoiberg's going to go to the line. He was fouled by Young and makes the free throw. Not exactly an ideal second quarter for the Sonics. Here's Gaze. Now it's to Jelani McCoy, who is picked up a little bit on the offense. Now here's McCoy with the dunk and it's goaltending. But he got the dunk in anyway. He felt that he was fouled. I think he was too. And that's going to be timeout called. Oh, nice. Oh, and here's Derek Fisher, and he's able to get that lay-in. Lost assignment by Shammond Williams. Mikey Moore is going to get that in there. Gets it to Corlone Young. Nice pass. Here's Gaze for 3, and he misses. Looks like things are going back to earth for Andrew Gaze. Derek Fisher is being guarded by Young. Here's Larry Johnson. And he misses. And Pat Garrity with a loose ball foul. It's going to be Sonics basketball. There's Shammond Williams. To McCoy. A nice spin move by McCoy. He's able to get that in there. Jelani McCoy, a second-round pick for the Sonics. Wasn't expected to do much in this season. And now here's Derek Fisher. He misses the point-blank shot. And now here comes Young. Over to McCoy with the jumper. He tried to bank it, and it did not go in. Larry Johnson with the rebound. Now here's Derek Fisher. Here's Hendrickson. Now here's Kerry Kittles. Johnson with a jumper. And Gaze with the rebound. Here comes McCoy. And now here's McCoy with a jumper again. No, he misses. McCoy feels he can make those kind of shots. And now here is Kittles, and he is fouled. Actually, no, it was just goaltending by Andrew Gaze. Gaze is now 1 for 3. Gaze for 3. And he misses. Now he is 1 for 4. Not exactly playing as well as he would like to. There's Kerry Kittles to Derek Fisher. Kendall Gill. Here's Williams. He can't get it in, but Williams, and it's goaltending by McCoy. And now Coach has seen enough. Here's Stevens for 3. Stevens now has 11 points. Now here's Johnson. And personal foul by Jay Williams. Lewis for 3. And he hits another 3-pointer. He is 3 for 5. He's been playing very well. Here's Fisher. Fisher for 3. And he hits the 3-pointer. Now here's Watson to Jerome James. And he gets the slam. He has now 8 points. Sonics now lead by 12, and a timeout is called by New Jersey. And it's kind of unusual that Stephon Marbury is not playing. They really do need him. Blocks in the last 30 games. Jerome James and Rashard Lewis in the rookies have been playing very well. Now here's Derek Fisher. Still no Marbury, and I think he might be injured. Rodman with the rebound. Marbury's still in good health. I don't know why he's not playing right now. Now here's Watson. James being guarded by Derek Fisher. Now Williams, and he's able to get that in. James has now 10 points. Sonics are now leading at 50-36. They're coming off of a very uninspiring game against Toronto. Now here's Fisher going with the long jumper, and he is able to make it too. Fisher now has 7 points. Here's Rodman trying to set that screen. Now here's Jerome James. Going to try to post up. Tries to get closer and closer. And he makes another shot. Jerome James with now 12 points. He is 6 of 10. He's been playing very much better in the second quarter. Much more efficient. And Derek Fisher able to float that in. Still wondering why Marbury hasn't played in this quarter at all. Now here is Watson with the dunk. It's a very easy path for Watson. And the Nets are just absolutely not having a good game. There's a small chance I might play a second game after this because I'm really just trying to steamroll this season and smoothly transition into baseball. Now here's Kendall Gill. Oh, and blocked by Rashard Lewis. Now here's Marbury, finally checks in. Joe Stevens with the rebound here. Here is Rashard Lewis. And now to Watson with the nice dunk. Now here is Watson. Brings it in. Gets it to Joe Stevens. And he loses the ball. Now here comes Kerry Kittles. Now here is a shot. Now Lewis makes the, whatever. Here's Watson. And now it's stolen by Kendall Gill. And he's going to try to go for the dunk, and he does. Going to be a 12-point game now. Now here is Jerome James. He should be open. He misses the point-blank shot. He was heavily guarded at the last moments. Now here's Kendall Gill. Now here's Kittles for 3. Jerome James with the rebound. And here comes Watson. Nearly lost the ball. And he lost his balance. And now Marbury gets the ball. And now here's Kerry Kittles. And he floats it to the rim. Rebound, Kendall Gill. He makes it. Now here is Joe Stevens. He's going to try to go for the buzzer beater. He does. And he misses. All right, let's see where we're at. James is leading the way with 12 points. Rashard Lewis with 12. Stevens with 11. Rodman with 7 rebounds. Watson with 10 assists, but 4 turnovers. I think they're going to go with the same lineup. And now it's 46-56. Now Kendall Gill. Now here's Marbury. And Williams misses it on the putback. And here's Rodman over to Joe Stevens for 3, and he makes it. Maybe Joe Stevens should get some more touches. Now here's Kittles for 3. Rodman with his 8th rebound. Now here is Stevens with a long 3-pointer, misses. He just barely missed. Now it was Marbury, he makes it. Stevens for 3, and he makes another 3-pointer. Sonics are just on fire, especially from 3-pointer. The timeout is called by the Nets. I think they're going to try to get Stevens some more touches. Seems like he's dreaming of trying to be a 50-point scorer at some point. Now here's Marbury with a jumper, and he makes the shot. It is now 62-50, and now here comes Watson over to Dennis Rodman. Lewis for 3, and hits the 3-pointer. Sonics continue to dominate from 3-point land, something that they will look forward to for next season. Kendall Gill for 3, and nice putback by Jay Williams. It is now 65-52. Now here's Stevens for 3, and he hits another 3-pointer. Stevens now has 20 points. He's been playing very well. Now here's Kerry Kittles. And he goes for the shot, and now here's Keith Van Horn who makes it. Watson gets his rebound, or gets it inbounds. Here's Stevens again for 3-pointer. And Stevens cannot be stopped in this quarter. He has now 23 points, 8 of 11 shooting. Nice behind the back. And Kendall Gill makes that shot. Sonics are now up by 15 points. And now here's Jerome James. And he was able to escape. Made the spin move to get around, and he's able to get the dunk. He is now 14 points. Jerome James has been fantastic. Now it's going to be double teamed. There's Kendall Gill going with a shot. He makes another one. Here's Jamie Watson again. And now to Dennis Rodman, who might be open, but he is fouled. Why not just keep giving it to Joe Stevens? He's just shooting too well. And here's Rodman Misses the free throw. And he makes that one. It is now 74-58. Now here's Marbury. And he misses. Now here comes Joe Stevens again. Now here's James. And he's able to get that in there. Nice moves by Jerome James. He is now 16 points. Now here's Marbury. And a nice rebound by the big man. It is now 76-60. And now it's stolen by Hendrickson. Let's see if Joe Stevens can do it again. And now he loses the ball. And now here is Carr with the emphatic dunk. And I think that might trigger for the Sonics to make some changes after this possession. Here's James. He gets around. He tries to fake the move, but he loses the ball. And now Rodman commits the foul to slow down the offense. And now they're going to bring in, Sonics are going to bring in their second unit. Now Sean Resprit's checking in for the first time as Andrew Gay's kind of struggled. Now here's Marbury. And he is fouled and he's going to go to the line. And Marbury makes the shot. Resprit for three. And here's McCoy. He's not able to convert on the rebound. Now here's Stephon Marbury. And goaltending by Corlone Young. The Nets are still somewhat trying to hang on. They are down by 8. And here's McCoy going to try and make some post moves. And he does. But he misses again. Sonics are now struggling all of a sudden after hot shooting by Joe Stevens. And now it could be a possible steal by Mikey Moore, but he's too slow, and it's going to be Nets ball. Now here's Fred Hoiberg. And he could not make it himself. Here's Sean Resprit to McCoy. Might have a chance. Nope, he's heavily guarded. Williams for three. And he hits it. Brings it back to an 11-point double-digit lead for Seattle. And now here's Hoiberg with the jumper. Now the big man. And he misses himself. Here's McCoy. Over to Williams. McCoy with the jumper, and he hits it. McCoy has actually been shooting pretty well lately. He has now 6 points. And fouled by Williams. Now here's Kerry Kittles. And McCoy with the rebound. Here comes Sean Resprit for three. And misses. And he failed to get the rebound. And now it's going to be blocked. Here's Kittles for three. And hits it. Here's Corlone Young for three, and he makes it. Now here's Kittles. He is fouled. And Corlone Young's already on his third personal foul. I think they're going to try to get Andrew Gaze in there, and they do. They're going to put him in the small forward position. Mikey Moore with the rebound. Here comes Jelani McCoy over to Gaze for three. And he misses it. Andrew Gaze looks like he's just been going back to earth. Trying to defend Marbury. Trying to commence the double team. Now here's Larry Johnson to Chris Carr for three. And it's actually put on the line. That's a two-pointer. Nets are trying to keep this in before they go into the fourth quarter. Gaze, another long three-pointer, misses again. He cannot be shooting threes anymore. And Gaze tried to cause the steal. Now here's Marbury with a jumper. And out of bounds, Sonics basketball. Now it's 84-74. Here's Resprit for three. And now they're missing the three-pointers. 10 seconds left. Here's Stephon Marbury. Nice pass to Kittle. Now here's Gill with a mid-range jumper, and he makes it. Nets are now within 8. Now here's Williams going to take the last shot. He does at the buzzer. Nope. He's not going to make it. And that's going to be the end of the quarter. Sonics are going to bring in their starters because they need Rashard Lewis to do the job. Here's Stevens for three-pointer, and he makes another one. Joe Stevens with 26 points. He is absolutely on fire. And fouled by Stevens. Jerome James has also been playing very well, 16 points. He has potential for the future for the Seattle SuperSonics. Now here's Marbury for three. And Rodman with another rebound. I think he's getting close to 10. And now here's Joe Stevens for another three-pointer. Not this time. Lewis with the rebound. Gets it to James. And he is fouled, and he is going to go to the line for two shots. And he misses the first free throw. Now here's Kendall Gill to Larry Johnson. And now here is Van Horn. Rodman with the rebound. And now here comes Joe Stevens to Rashard Lewis. Stevens for three. And he makes another one. Stevens now has 29 points. He's at 9 three-pointers. Now here's Kendall Gill, and he makes it. Now here's Watson. He might be... Oh, my goodness. He is wide open for the dunk. Watson now has 6 points. Now here's Van Horn. Rebound James. Now here's Watson. Off to Stevens for a three-pointer. Not this time. And who's going to save it? And he was able to get it to save, and that is now Sonics basketball. Who made the diving save? That was Jamie Watson, who was able to bounce it off of Kendall Gill. And now this game could just very much be out of reach. Here's Kittles or Stevens for three. Stevens now has 32 points on 10 of 14 from shooting from downtown. Now here's Stephon Marbury, blocked by James. And now here comes Jamie Watson. Kicks it out to Stevens. Does it again to Stevens for another three-pointer. And rebound James. Here's Stevens. No, he loses it. He's going to try to drive. And he's able to get that in. Stevens is shaken up for a moment. I think he is okay. He is now 34 points. He's going to try to get to 40. And now here's Van Horn. Oh, but fouled by Rodman. How has Rodman been doing? He has now 10 rebounds. He's trying to, maybe he can get the triple-double. So I think they're going to keep him in there to see if he can get the triple-double. Van Horn goes for the free throw. He's not going to make it. I think they're going to take James out for Greg Foster. And they make the free throw. Here's Watson. Oh my goodness, he is wide open. He is fouled. And he's going to go to the line for a shot for 2 free throws. And he makes the free throw. He's going to try again. Or he does it again. Yep, he makes it. He has now 8 points. I think they're going to pull out Rodman. Now here's Larry Johnson. And blocked by Greg Foster. Here comes Rashard Lewis to Joe Stevens. Stevens goes for the mid-range, and he makes another one. Fans are going absolutely nuts. He has now 36 points. And fouled by Watson. And now here comes Jelani McCoy. They may put in Shammond Williams. Now here's Larry Johnson. He's able to get that in there over Rashard Lewis. Nice fake. Now here's Stevens. He misses. Stevens with another shot. He misses again, but no rebound. But there's still plenty of time for Stevens to get to 40 points. That's what he's at least trying to do. Now here's Marbury. And now Williams gets the rebound. And he's able to get that in. It's now a 17-point lead. And now it's a steal by Marbury. Nice pass to Van Horn with the dunk. They reduce it to a 16-point game. Here's Lewis to Stevens. Goes for a shot. And now he's just all of a sudden cold. Now here's Van Horn. And Kerry Kittle's able to get that in. 8-0 run for the Nets. Starting to get dangerous all of a sudden. Here's Stevens. He's trying to force it. And now Stevens for 3. Oh! He has now 39 points. He has 11 three-pointers. He has 39 points. And now here's Marbury. He's able to escape Greg Foster and gets that in. Now here's Greg Foster. Could he go in all the way? And he is fouled. Actually, it was goaltending, and it counts. They want to get Stevens to 40 points as he's had an excellent game. Marbury for a long three-pointer, and he makes it. Reduces it to a 14-point game. Stevens, a long three-pointer. He misses. The fans were about to explode, but I mean, I kind of figured he wasn't going to make it. Here's Marbury. Brings it down to 12, and I think they're going to have to call a timeout eventually. Here's Stevens. Goes for the shot. No, he misses again. And Stevens just looks really exhausted. What has Marbury got? Here's Kittles for 3. No. Now here's Stevens again. And he goes for, and the foul! And Stevens now gets 40 points, 41 points. He receives a huge standing ovation. He has now 41 points. And he makes the free throw. And timeout's been called. And he is going to get that standing ovation. I think they're still going to keep him in. Maybe he can try to get to 50 points. I don't know. They're going to put in, I think they're going to put in Resprit. And Rodman, he is fouled. He's fouling. And now Marbury's going to go for free throws, and he misses the free throw. They're going to pull Rodman out of the game to avoid foul trouble. The Nets are still trying to fight back. Now here's Stevens wide open. And McCoy gets the rebound, and he gets it in. Nice shot. Nice rebound by McCoy. He's 111 to 95. Now here's Marbury for three. And he hits again. 13-point lead for Seattle. Now here comes Jerome James. He kicks it off to Stevens, wide open. And I think he is officially just out of gas. I think they're going to take him out of the game. I think he has done what he could. And the foul by Marbury. And here's the free throw. And McCoy gets the rebound. Stevens gets the standing ovation. Now here's Gaze, wide open for three. And he finally makes it. Andrew Gaze from downtown. Now it's back to a 14-point game. I think they're going to put in Greg Foster. Nope, they're going to put in Mikey Moore. Now here's Williams. He gets the rebound. Here comes Williams. And now it's stolen by Kerry Kittles. And now it's to Jerome. No! And now here is James. He gets it in. Nice moves by Jerome James. He has now 18 points. Now here's Kendall Gill to Kittles for three. And nice pass. Oh, no, they lose it. And here comes Marbury. He's able to get that in. They reduce it to a 9-point game, but it's too little too late. Oh, no, it's a steal by Kerry Kittles. Here's Gill, and he makes it. Now it's a 7-point game. Now things get a little bit weird. Now here's James to McCoy. Shouldn't have faked it. And he misses it. It's now 116 to 109. And now they're just going to run out the clock. Here's Kittles for three. And that's it. And the Seattle SuperSonics, they defeated the New Jersey Nets. 116 to 109. Player of the game easily goes to Joe Stevens. He made the insane and one. Made all those three-pointers. Like, no doubt about it. He came to play. Amazing shooting display by Joe Stevens. He was able to make more than 10 three-pointers. Can't believe it. I think I'll have time for one more game. 42 points for Joe Stevens. Just absolutely insane performance. I'm going to start writing some notes. All right, now I probably should get more serious on the scouting. Are there any players that I would be interested in the draft? Maybe look at Jermaine Jones, Tim James. Maybe look at Dion Glover. They'll be playing the Orlando Magic next. Playing against Detlef Schrempf. Sonics are now 24-46. With the power rankings, or 23-46, 24-46 probably. They're going to go up against the Orlando Magic. All right, going to play one more game, and that's going to be it. Joe Stevens had 41 points in the previous game. And now we are underway. Detlef Schrempf playing against their old teammate. And now it's stolen by Strong. And now who's got this? Now here's Penny Hardaway with the emphatic dunk, and they get the early lead. Now here's Jerome James, and he is fouled by Isaac Austin. He makes the free throw. Now here's Detlef Schrempf. And rebound Austin. And out of bounds, it's going to be Orlando ball. Sonics traded away Detlef Schrempf to the Orlando Magic in a package of 2 first-round picks and a huge dunk. Nice pass by Detlef Schrempf. I don't think it's going to be exactly like the Nets game. The Magic will be a much bigger challenge. Here's Lewis to Stevens for 3. And misses, not this time. Penny Hardaway. And now here comes Schrempf, and now rebounded by Jerome James. Oh, no, it's stolen. And now here comes Penny Hardaway. And this is the complete opposite of how the Sonics are playing. When they played against the Nets, they played very well, and now they're just looking completely lost. And now to Rodman, Stevens for 3, and makes it this time. Stevens, in his last game, he did score 41 points, his career high. Now here's Anderson for 3, and he makes the 3-pointer. It is now 9-5, Seattle. Now there's Rashard Lewis, and he makes it. And here's Schrempf. He's able to make that over Jerome James. Very shocking. And now here is, no, it's going to be a turnover by Orlando, or by Seattle. And now here is Nick Anderson, and goaltending called on Jerome James, and he could not believe it. Jerome James also played very well last game with 18 points. Now here's Rashard Lewis for 3. And not a good start for the Orlando Magic. Here's Detlef Schrempf. And he gets the dunk in. He's now 15-7. And now stolen by Strong. Now here's Anderson to Schrempf with another dunk. Schrempf, I believe, is set to be a free agent after this season. It's unclear where he will be. And a huge dunk by Rashard Lewis. I doubt that the Sonics will bring him back. They don't really have a need for him as they're trying to rebuild for their future. Now here's Austin. Now here's Schrempf, able to get that in. Here's Stevens for 3. Now here's Anderson. And now the Orlando Magic are just eating up the Sonics. Now here's Stevens, goes for the fadeaway. Oh! Stevens makes that fadeaway shot. As much as he's been a journeyman throughout his career, he's really found his place in Seattle. And questions remain if the Sonics will keep him as one of the cornerstones of the future, or if they are going to move on from him and maybe he'll get a big contract somewhere else. And here's Rodman, and he misses. So here's Strong. Now here's Hardaway. Gets his own rebound. Here's Strong, and he's fouled. Foul committed by James. And now he's going to go for the 3-point play. And makes the free throw. Stevens with a long 3-pointer. And he can't get the rebound. Rebound Doliak. And now here's Hardaway again. And he hangs on to that rim. The highly athletic Anthony Hardaway. Oh no, stolen by Doliak. Now here's Armstrong to Austin, and he gets it in. As Orlando is absolutely just destroying the Seattle SuperSonics. And now stolen by Askins. And he's able to get that dunk in there. It's now 30-11. Here's James trying to post up on Doliak. He's able to muscle it in, but no shot. Now here's Armstrong with a shot, and he makes it himself. Armstrong is on fire. No, it's just his first shot. Now here's James. Oh, and Doliak falls down, and James is able to take advantage and get that in there. Timeout called by Orlando, but they are up by almost 20 points to start off in the first quarter. It's been mostly their defense that has carried their offense. Here's Askins. Here's Matt Harpring, blocked by Rodman. Now here's Armstrong. Now a 3-pointer. And hits it. Now here's Watson. There's Stevens, and he makes a shot. He's the only efficient scorer for the Sonics right now, as he has been arguably their best player throughout the second half. He was able to get more minutes because of the trade of Ruben Patterson, as they felt there was just no role for him. Here's Polonese, and blocked by James. Polonese, who was actually traded from Seattle to Orlando and part of that Detlef Schrempf trade. Now here is Stevens for three. James with the rebound, and he can't make it. Here's Askins. Now here's Armstrong to Harpring for three, and he makes it. And now they are up by 23. Here's Lewis with the long three-pointer. It is now still a 20-point game. 40 seconds left. And now here's Harpring, blocked by Lewis. There's Lewis to Stevens for three-pointer and misses it. Here's Askins. Rebound Lewis. And now here's Stevens. And he misses it again. And that is going to be it for the first quarter. Not a good start for Seattle. It is now 38-18. Now a three-pointer, and makes it. Sonics are in trouble. Now here's Mikey Moore. He was able to get the easy dunk in there. Very lackluster defense by Orlando. Now here's Vinny Del Negro. And now Austin's able to get that in. Just an absolutely humiliating. Now here's Mikey Moore again. No! He is blocked. Schrempf gets the rebound. Now here's Detlef Schrempf. Nice moves. He's able to get that in there against his former team. But he notices that this team is completely different. And now here's McCoy. And he gets it in. And I think the Sonics are figuring out that maybe they can be beaten on the front court. But the Sonics have a really long ways to go. Now here's Austin. Del Negro. Here's a jump shot. Here's Stefania, and he's able to get that in. It is now 47-22. Now here's Resprit, and here's Young for three. He misses the three-pointer. Now here is Anderson. He is blocked. Here comes Resprit. Over to Young. And Resprit for three. He's able to get that in there. And that's going to be fouled. Or it's going to be a timeout called. Orlando is hanging in the 8th seed. That would be good news for the Sonics, because that means they are still hanging. That means that could be a mid-round pick. Now here's Austin. Here's Del Negro for three. Young with the rebound. Here's McCoy. Goes for the long jumper. Moore with the rebound. He is fouled, and he is going to go to the line for a chance for a 3-point play. And Moore misses the free throw. And makes it again. Or makes the second one. Now here's Del Negro. And now it's stolen by Resprit. And here comes Corlone Young. And he can't make it. Now here's Anderson for 3. Here's Austin and the foul. And he is going to go to the line. And he makes it. Here's Resprit for 3. And Austin with the rebound. And Nick Anderson's able to fake it and make it in. Now here's Mikey Moore. He is blocked. But it's going to be Sonics ball, and now they're going to bring their starters back in. Now here's McCoy. Nope. Their starters are waiting to play. And here's Del Negro. Hardaway, and now to Anderson for 3. McCoy with the rebound. Here comes Young. Williams for 3. And he misses it himself. Now Anderson, he makes it. Now here's Corlone Young. He makes it. It's now 54-28. And now here is Strong. He makes it in. It's now 56-28. And now here is McCoy. And now Stoll. Well, sorry about that for anyone that cares to watch, but I lost internet, so I had to reset it. And I think it's because of these crazy windstorms. And whoever's dealing with that windstorm, please be safe. And now we're back. It is now 59 to 31. Now it gets to Sean Resprit, to McCoy. Corlone Young for 3. McCoy with the rebound. And he's able to get that in. Is now 33 to 59, 59 to 33. And now here is goaltending by Mikey Moore. And that should be bringing the starters back in. And that does. Now here's Watson to Stevens for 3. He makes another one. He has now 10 points. Stevens has been on fire. Now here's Del Negro for 3. James with the rebound. Now here comes Watson. And he's able to make the moves and get that in there. Now 38-61. Now you're Strong. And Olden Polynice with the rebound and gets it in. Now here's Watson. To Stevens for 3. And now Hardaway gets that rebound. A nice pass. Now here's Del Negro. And Hardaway gets that in. Now here's Jerome James. And he is blocked by Polynice. It's now still a huge massacre. Here's Del Negro. Stevens with the rebound. Here's Lewis. Goes for an insane oh, he makes an insane three-pointer. And now it's 65 to 41. Here's Polynice to Schrempf. Schrempf for 3. And rebound James. Here comes Rashard Lewis. And now here's James. He is fouled. And he makes it. Count it. And 1. And he will go to the line. And he misses the free throw. And blocked by Stevens. Blocked by Watson. Now here's Armstrong. Here's Askins for 3. He makes the three-pointer. 63 to 48. Here's James. He couldn't get it in. It's now 68 to 43. Here's Armstrong blocked by James. And Orlando ball. Now a three-pointer. Oh, at the buzzer. Detlef Schrempf for three-pointer, and that's going to be the halftime. Schrempf has 13 points against his former team. And they're going to go with their starters. Sonics are now down by 30, practically. Now Anderson for 3. Rodman with the rebound. Here's James. And he gets that in there. He has 8 points. Wonder if the Sonics can make any kind of an inspiring comeback. Now here's Hardaway. They're gonna put in Shammond Williams. Stevens with a shot. Can't make those. I think that's why he may be only a bench player at best for the Sonics for their future. And backcourt violation. And it will go to Seattle. Now here's Williams for three-pointer. He misses it. Now here's Isaac Austin. And rebound Stevens. And now Stevens for three again. The Sonics are trying to make a comeback, even though they're down by 20, but they have cut that lead just a little bit into the third quarter. They put Williams in there to provide some spark off the bench. There's Nick Anderson, and that is blocked. And now here comes Rashard Lewis over to Stevens, and goaltending. It is now 71 to 50. Here's Anderson, makes the shot. Stevens, in and out. Hardaway with the rebound. Now here's Anderson, blocked by James again. Over to Stevens. And out of bounds, it's going to be Orlando ball. As he lost control of that ball. I think they're going to try to bring in Gaze. Now here's Hardaway. And fouled by Williams. Now here's Austin. And Orlando ball. There's Anderson for three and makes it. Orlando continues to maintain the lead. Now here's James. Oh, nice moves, but he can't make it. Now Hardaway for three. Nice rebound by Austin. Three blocks for Jerome James. Williams for three and hits it. Now here's Detlef Schrempf. And he is fouled. Watson's now coming back in. And he makes the free throw. Now here's Gaze for 3. And he has just been absolutely struggling. Now here comes Hardaway. And he misses. Lewis is also 4 of 5. He hasn't really gotten much touches. Oh, nice fake. And now here's Lewis. And he draws the foul. He makes the free throw. And misses. Now here's Hardaway. And he is fouled by Gaze. And he will go to the line. And now it's getting close to a 30-point game. Now here's McCoy. Hey, he's able to get that in there. McCoy with 6 points. And it's out of bounds. Sonics basketball. Lewis for 3. And he makes it. As he's trying to get this into at least a 20-point game. Now here's Hardaway for 3. McCoy with the rebound. Now here's Rashard Lewis. Back to Gaze for 3. Oh! And now it's a 20-point game. Andrew Gaze finally makes his 3-pointer. Armstrong for 3. Moore with the rebound. And now here comes Rashard Lewis. To Watson. And now to McCoy. Being guarded by Schrempf. He's able to easily get around, and he does. And now it is within 18 points. And fouled by Gaze. And Olden Polynice. He misses it. And Orlando starting to struggle. Gaze for 3. Oh! And now it's a 15-point game. What is going on here in Orlando? Hardaway for 3. Oh my goodness. He just responded back with a 3-pointer. Now here comes Watson to Mikey Moore. Lewis for 3. And Polynice with the rebound. And there's Austin and misses it. And Armstrong is able to make it in. It's now 20-point game again. Now here is Watson with a dunk. As he was able to sneak that in there. He only has 4 points, though. And more. And oh no, they are now in the bonus. And McCoy with the rebound. Here comes Andrew Gaze. To Young. And now here's McCoy. He's fouled. And he's going to go to the line. Fouled by Polonese. And he makes the free throw. McCoy can shoot. He makes another one. Makes you wonder what they're going to do for the fourth quarter, because the Sonics believe they are still very much in this still. And now here's Austin. And Polonese puts it back. Now it was Watson to McCoy. And he misses. Left Schrempf with the rebound. Now here's Armstrong for Schrempf. He goes for a nice little shot. And that is going to do it for the quarter. It is now 90-71. Now here's Watson as we are back. Gonna go with their starters here. Stevens for a three-pointer. Stevens now has 18 points. They feel that Williams has been struggling lately. Now here's Nick Anderson. And he's able to get that in there. Here comes Watson to Jerome James. And now he has 10 points. He's now 92-76. You're going to try to double team. They nearly got the steal out of it. Oh no, and Doliak is open. And a lost defensive assignment. That was on Jerome James. Now here's Watson to James again. And he can't get his own rebound. Here comes Armstrong. Here's Nick Anderson, blocked by Stevens. Lewis gets the rebound. And now here is Watson with the dunk. And they feel that they do have a good shot. How's Dennis Rodman been doing? Rodman's been very ineffective. I think they're going to put in McCoy over Rodman. And now here's Armstrong. Here's Askins. And Watson with the rebound. Here's Watson over to Stevens. Nice moves. And the foul. Fouled by Detlef Schrempf. And he's going to go to the line to complete a three-point play. And he does. He has now 21 points. He has been the team's leading scorer ever since the All-Star break. And now here's Hardaway. And James was somehow not able to get to him. Now here is Lewis for three. In and out. Now here's James with the rebound. No, he misses it. And that's the kind of stuff that gets you on the bench. I think I'm going to put in McCoy over him, and Rodman's going to come back in. And now here is Detlef Schrempf. James with the rebound. He has now 8 rebounds himself. Here's McCoy. Here's James setting the screen. And now here's Lewis for three-pointer. No, he misses it. And now Anderson gets the rebound. And now here is Austin, and now they're going to have to call a timeout. There's still plenty of time left, but it's still cutting it close. I think they're going to put in Shammond Williams. They'll give Gaze a shot. Corlone Young. They're going to try to get some of their bench players to be the spark plug, to keep their other players fresh. Now here's Gaze for three, and he makes it. Andrew Gaze is now 3 of 4 from 3-point land. They're going to try to pressure the shooters. Now here is Anderson. Now Hardaway for 3. Oh my goodness. Anthony Hardaway hits from downtown. Here's Gaze again for 3. Oh my goodness, he makes it again. 101 to 87. Timeout has been called by Orlando. Orlando's trying to make a comeback out of it, or Seattle is trying to make a comeback. But it's been very tough. Here's Nick Anderson. Here's Anthony Hardaway. Oh, with the dunk. It's still a 15-point game. Sonics are still trying to make a comeback. And here's Gaze calling for the ball. Gets it to Corleone Young this time. Oh, a 3-pointer. And now it's a 13-point game. Orlando was up by as much as 30 points. And now 3-pointer by Detlef Schrempf. Rebound strong. Here's Anderson. Goes for the mid-range, and he makes it. Now 4 minutes left in the game. Rodman is on. And no, he loses it. Terrible passing by Shammond Williams. And now here is Hardaway. Well defended. Now here's Andrew Gaze to Corleone Young again. No, he misses it. Momentum back to Orlando. And now Young gets the steal. And he throws it down. And now it's back to down a 13-point game. Does Orlando have enough in them? And fouled by Williams. But it seemed necessary anyway. Now here's Isaac Austin. To Strong. And he was able to get through McCoy. Now here's Watson and gets it. No! Loses it again. Now here's Anthony Hardaway. They can't get on anything. And now here is Hardaway. And he was able to make that in. And blocked by Schrempf. But it is Sonics basketball. Here's James with the dunk. James with 12 points. It's now 109 to 94. Oh no, and Austin throws it down. And gets it to James. 14 points. Here's Schrempf. And there's Hardaway. Oh, and the foul. Sonics are now critically running out of time. Stevens for 3. Nope, not going to happen. Sonics tried to make a valiant comeback, but it just wasn't to be. And now blocked. Here's Austin's able to get it in anyway. Now back to a 20-point game, and I think they are just going to throw up the white flag. Here's Stevens. Oh, for three-pointer. And where was he? He has now 24 points. Now here's Isaac Austin. As time is winding down, here's McCoy. He misses it. Austin with 14 points and 12 rebounds. He had a really good game. Now here's Hardaway. He's able to make it. Now it's to Jerome James, and they lose the ball, and I think they're going to foul just because, and they do. And Anderson's going to be at the line, and now they're going to empty out their players. And he does. Gates is going for a shot. Nope. And only 17 seconds left in the game. And I think at this point, they're just going to milk the clock. And Shammond Williams commits the foul. And this is nothing more than just being over. Nick Anderson with the free throw. And now that should do it. Here's Gaze for three, and he makes another shot. And that will do it. The Seattle SuperSonics will go down against the Orlando Magic, especially Detlef's former team, against their former teammate Detlef Schrempf. And it was mostly led by Anthony Hardaway and his 34 points. Joe Stevens did what he could, but it just wasn't enough. James even contributed 14 points, 8 rebounds. McCoy with 10 points, 7 rebounds. It just wasn't enough. Dennis Rodman played almost pretty much nothing. And that's it. We're going to be playing against Utah. 24-47 is Seattle. While the Utah Jazz are 39-32. The Sonics now have 10 games left. There are 11 games left in the season. Just 11 games to go. The month of March, they are now 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 4-7 in the month. (23-46) is Seattle. Very disappointing season for Seattle, but a lot of reasons for optimism. And so many injuries. Looking at the available power forwards, Alton Lister didn't really play that much. I think Sonics are gonna cut a player. They're gonna cut Mario Bennett. And now they're gonna bring in another guy. I think they're gonna bring in either Amal Maskeel or Dante Jones. I think they're gonna sign Dante Jones. They'll put in Jones over Foster. And before I end the show, I'm going to play a little bit of practice. I'm going to test out Dante Jones. Now here's Jones. Can't really make jump shots, though. But they're going to test him out and see what he does. They just replaced him. They just replaced Mario Bennett with him. And dunk. But can he make jump shots is the question. That's something that they'll have to figure out. Kind of undersized power forward, though. Can't make the shot. He can dunk. Kind of got a smooth jumper. We'll see how he does. Well, that's going to do it. I'm going to take off. Man, I got 11 games left. It's going to be against the Utah Jazz. And it'll be closing it off against the Detroit Pistons. Well, that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you very much for being here. And let's hope that we do bring back our Seattle SuperSonics. Have a good evening, everyone.